First of all, let me say thank you, Casper, for the invitation for this event today, and also my company that give me possibility to stay here today.
Thank you very much, Vincenzo, for joining us. Vincenzo is a supply chain global manager in Movic. So the first part of the presentation will be more or less of the global size of Movic. Natalia already introduces us a bit of that. The second part will be more about standardization and also the quite a complicated implementation process for 8 plants in 7 countries, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So
you are
please, you starting.
Okay. First of all, give me possibility to introduce my company today. I don't know if Natalia already maybe spoke a little bit, but so we are Movic. We are a global company that working for automotive in the automotive market. So in general, industrial market. We sell parts, components for cars, trucks, and other, let me say, industry application like agriculture machine. So we are more than 1,600 people. So we are more than we have more than 100 customers in our portfolio. We are present in 30 countries, and we have 9 manufacturing sites. 2 are in Europe, 1 in Poland, and another one in Ivrea in Italy. And we have 3 plants in the United States. And we have another one in South of America, Brazil, and another one in China, in Shanghai, close to Shanghai, another one in India. So, despite we are a little bit new as brand, as Movic, our history is a little bit long. In fact, our company born in the 19th century, so as rubber manufacturing company. So before to become Movic entity, we are part of Dayco. So as division, we are propulsion solution. We was propulsion solution division, and from May 24, we was bought from Aurelius that produced a new name, a new branch was Movic. So our main product was, as I already explained before, part of component for automotive market. So in particular, we produce component tensioner, damper, and decoupler for passenger cars and truck, for standard engine, and also for new application for hybrid solution. So our portfolio company was divided in 3 categories. We are created 2 different branch. One is heavy-duty vehicles. This is portfolio company in regards to customers. So we have most important brand in our portfolio. We have CNH, Volvo, Stellantis, and others for light vehicles like Ford, Stellantis, Valeo, Toyota. So we are also developing a new division for aftermarket parts. So most important client today is Dayco. And we are also developing other customers. In the future, this is an important branch for us. So our vision is provide solution for a sustainable future, so for light duty and heavy duty markets. So go in the more in details about the application of today. Yes, sorry because it is a little bit little and it's not possible.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. What we would like to communicate with this slide is why we start to talk about TMS, what we are looking for, and why we choose Logintegra. So why we start, which is our background. We have jeopardized data sets today and process too. So each plant has organized in proper way, doing the best that they can do. Our data are stored located in the Excel file at plant sites. So process process is a little bit different plant by plant. And this is difficult for us, is a barrier to improve in the freight process. What we are taught is, okay, we need some solution that can help us to solve this issue and give us a better way to manage our data, and also give us possibility to standardize our process. So, in fact, we try to look at market and understand who can help us on this, and the requirements for this was sure full coverage of process that we need to implement and improve. Sure system that can help us in have multi-language, because we are, as I already explained, a global company, different culture, different language, and also have an experience as multi-plant level and multicultural implementation. Another important factor is the support that company should provide us, because we are located in different area, different time zone, so we need coverage 24 hours, 7 days. So very important is also this kind of feature. So why Logintegra? Not just because they are competitive in price, that is already an important factor, but Logintegra showing us also good focus in this kind of project. They already have, let me say, good experience in our plant in Tiki. We have good feedback from them. They are very flexible in the process that we need to implement, and they are available to develop a new functionality, like already Casper explained before, like sea freight, for example. And despite this, they have a good already standard process in place that we can use and develop it for the rest of the plants.
Yeah, I think the quite of important part of the story was that the system was already implemented in Tychy about 3 years ago or something. A bit different data set that Vincenzo was looking for, a bit different, functionality set that Vincenzo was looking for. But we already had some experience with Movic, and also he could just call the Polish branch and ask about their opinion. So it was like really safe extent of our business together for both sides. For them it was really safe because they already have experience with us. For us it's also really good opportunity to grow with that client together.
Thank you. So going through the application that we asked, this is we design it like a sort of cycle, because we design 6 modules, let me say, that are in sequence, because first of all, what we asked Logintegra is developed a module so-called route and price definition. So this is a module where you can, define which are your routes, your lanes, and price related this route, and also define the price like kind of equipment or other specification. That is important.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting that also because of this global scope, there are many different logics of calculating the price, and it is completely different for different carriers, different cultures. something that is impossible in Europe is just normal in US, for example. So yeah, that is really a great challenge, but also opportunity to grow again.
Yeah. So second module is more strictly related the request of transport. So once you defined the price and route, you have ability to request the transport using this configuration already done. So we call it standard transport, and this is one of the functionality that we have internally these modules. But we have also another one that maybe we already talked this morning about spot bidding.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay, so this is couple of functionality complete these modules. You need to use spot bidding when you are not able to define it before the route and price. So when you are in this situation, such situation, you need the spot freight. You don't know the destination, you don't know the origin sometimes, and you can use this kind of a functionality. And this could help us also to have a competitive price, because we, let me say, created a list of carriers that can be part of this competition. Last but not least, is also important for spot bidding the approval process, because sometimes budget is important in our company. And okay, when there is a standard price, okay, we can manage it because we know we can estimate the volumes, we know the price, and this is easier to manage it in the budget. But when we talk about spot freight, we don't know it. We don't know the cost, and it's very important that we have a right workflow approval to be aware management about this cost, and also ask them approval.
So it's especially for something like booking helicopters or planes, or really kind of charters, completely crazy for other businesses type of transport that sometimes happen in case of automotive. And then it should be accepted on a few different levels.
Yeah, it depends from value. We can configure range of cost per level of management. So third module is transportation management. It is some things that involved the carriers mainly, because this is strictly related communication that carriers need to do to us. What we ask at the carriers is, on top of the integration, is communicate us each event that is related to transport, like the pickup estimation, pickup confirmation. Each event we are interested to. It depends sometimes from kind of transport. Maybe it could be different for road freight, for example, air freight or sea freight, because maybe for sea freight you are interested to track more events instead that road freight that maybe have a short lead time versus the sea freight. We can also manage in these modules the documentation in order to avoid to use our email and inbox to store this data, or use our directory. We can use directly the portal to save all history, all event, each communication we do with the carriers in online, in just one line. You can have all information you need. So then sometimes could happen that some things go not so right. So there is some problems, some delay, and we need to claim this for our carriers. And this is reason why we asked to have a module to manage our claim, because when you are in this situation, we need to have possibility to communicate with our carrier using the portal, because we would like to register each event, and we would like, let me say, at the end also sometimes release some debit note, for example. And we would like to track this event and also eventually the cashback that we can got from our suppliers and customers. It depends from the events. And in these models, we also manage the ranking. In this case, we can create a list of carriers with the scoring that we can use to evaluate the performance of these carriers. Freight cost audit is another important step that we would like managed in this tool, because today we have in each plant a way to manage it manually. So the improvement first is the automatization that we would like to create. We would like manage this process automatically, and we need to make 100% that cost that we register at the beginning is the same cost that is required from carriers at the end. So this is the reason why, let me say, we thinking this like a cycle, like a sequence of process that comes one each other.
Yeah, the important idea is that the goal of the project is to cover all different transport types. So in this case, road, sea, and air in one tool.
Yeah. At least we have also a dashboard that we intend developing in order to aggregate costs that need to be standardized, sure, in terms of field that we register, in order to have, let me say, at the end, an overview of our cost, and we can use it for our analysis and consolidate for the reporting. At the end, just to resume the things that we said, okay, for router price definition, we will manage two things, price management and networking design. It could be helpful when you, for example, need to do managing some tender. So if you have a network already configured in your portals, you can use it as baseline for the new tender, and you have also the price for each lanes that you can register in the same modules. Then we talk about spot bidding, standard request, and workflow approval. Track and trace for transport management, and this is another thing that I missed before. So CO2 emission management, it is some things that in Europe are coming as new rules. As you know, there is a CBAM that is necessary in the future, especially if you have importation from abroad. So sometimes it's dependent from situation, case by case, but you need to register this kind of information. This is something also that was requested from our customer, for example, because they are in the same situation like us, and we needed to have this kind of information in our portal in order to use it when we need. As we said, we would like to use the claim modules to also release our debit note and follow also for the payment, and also created a vendor rating that could help us to understand the performance of each carriers, not just, let me say, because I am thinking that it is good or not good, but because there is a formal event that I register and give us a rating. At the end, we have also a freight cost audit. So we have two kinds of solutions that we are managing today. The first one that we will propose for our carriers is pre-invoice. The pre-invoice means that we created such reporting where we, let me say, register each transport that we release during the months. And because we know also price that we need to pay, we already configured an invoice, let me say pro forma invoice, that we can propose our carriers to invoice to us. So this is a way to avoid to control, another way to avoid control after receiving invoice from the customer at the end, their invoice, the payment.
I think that's quite interesting idea about cost management, that you don't wait just for an invoice and then control it. You can, if you have all the data, you can prepare the report for them and just give them to check. Do you think it's okay? If it's okay, just give me the invoice for the same amount with the number of this report on it. And because we will have all the price lists in the system, all the additional costs that can happen during the transport organization, and also this debit note management, the idea is that in 99% it should be completely complained. It could be the same report that we can generate as the same data that transportation company should have.
Yeah. So in case the carriers didn't accept this option, in any case, we thinking to develop another second functionality that it is invoice control. It is the case where we can, let me say, connected and us with the carriers via EDI on API in order to receive this electronic format of their invoice and control each freight per freight cost and volumes that they asked us to pay.
Yeah, but that's kind of backup solution in case of some super big carrier cannot accept this pre-invoice process.
Right. At least again, consolidation costs could be helpful to manage our dashboard about freight, to have to do analysis and cost control. So, which are the, let me say, benefits that we expected from these kind of models? For sure, price control, better than now, because we will have each price registered in the portal. We are able to track price list of each plant and for each carriers. We are able, thanks to this functionality, also to manage it in easier way the tender, because as I already said, we have a network already designed in the tool, we have price, we have event registered, the transport already registered in the system, and all of this information is very useful when you need to manage the tender. So for sure also another benefit is the centralized data access, means that each person in the company that need to have access to this data is possible to have without any barrier, let me say. So regards transportation booking, for sure the most important is quick tender management that we can have in order to save money and be sure 100% that each plant using different carriers in asking when he asking for short quote and have a good competition. This is a way to make sure that our plant follow the same process, and this is why we are talking about standardization too.
Yeah, the rule is that transportation management team will not choose the carrier that could take part in this spot bidding. It will be for purchasing team. It will be in purchasing team responsibility. Transportation management team only just create the spot bidding in a few seconds, and all spot biddings will be sent to predefined list of suppliers.
Right. So another important things that we already underlined before is for sure process automatization, because request starting from the beginning managed in the portal. So you need not use the mailbox, and you need not waiting answer and checking continuous the mailbox, where you receive a lot of email, also different for kind of topic. But you have a portal where you have registered in the dashboard, the main dashboard, each event, and you can receive a notification when this dashboard will be updated from some carriers. For example, when you receive an acceptance of transport that you requested. Real-time visibility is something that we are looking for. Instead that enter in several portals of our carriers, we would like to go just in one tool, the same tool where we require the shipment, and checking also visibility about where is our containers, where is our truck. So in this tool, we would like to use also the portion where we can store documentation, because sometimes you need to take some old document for some freight for some reason, and you can go in the same portal, in the same space, and for specific freight and take documentation that you need. We can manage the customer satisfaction, and we can monitoring, as we said, the performance of our carriers. This is, for me, is another fundamental process, as we said, because we can control payment process. We can, let me say, standardize it. We can, let me say, be sure 100% that all our plants are following the same process at the end.
So how do you think? What is the chance that Mexico, Poland, and India have the same standard for payment and check of invoices? Well, what's the chance to have it without any rules and tool for that? That's not possible at all.
Low chance.
1%, I think, yeah, 1% is maybe in some circumstances it could happen, but as we observe when we do the flow analysis, this is completely different process for all the countries that have to be standardized.
Yeah. So at the end, as we said, so dashboard and data that we register here could be help us to make decision very fast, that instead they collect data from each plant and waiting, receiving it, maybe also at the plant side, they didn't register each time all data. And maybe sometimes it's a different kind of details. And in this way, we are able to register the same event, same cost, in the same way, and it will be give us possibility to grow very fast, improve our process very fast, because giving us this data, so we are more fast in the decision at the end. So implementation process is an important stage for me. It's a fundamental stage because, let me say, if implementation go wrong, so the tool, the process, fails. So it is very important that we spend time to talk about implementation from the beginning, and each stakeholders need to be involved. Carriers, plant, and for sure global team also need to be involved in this activity, because all of this is fundamental stakeholders in this process.
To be honest, we had a set of meetings with main carriers, for example, main freight forwarders, even before the full scope of the project was decided, just to check what are the possibilities for integration, what is, let's say, digitalization level of each carrier could be completely different in different countries. And also, as fast as possible, we try to reach all the local logistic teams to introduce projects for them, to understand their needs, and also to show them the goals and scope of the project.
Yes, for this reason, we defined, let me say, each information that we need to share with the audience, and for each level. So, for example, at the global level, the very important part is and share with the Logintegra and define together the goals and the scope of projects. So for sure it's very important check before which is the status in terms of documentation and price that we have, and how they works in order to analyze it and understand how we can integrate in our tools.
Yeah, so I think it's really a good example of situation when client don't try to design the tool instead of us, but just really give us insight about business goals, so we can design solution together. And I think it's much more efficient when business-related person or client-related person work as a client specialist, and we can work as a software design specialist.
Yeah. Yeah, very important and very opportunity that we developed with the Log Integra team is also opportunity to do demo for main functionality in order to test in practice what means use the tools. This is fundamental from my point of view, because in this case people can see practically which will be their new workloads that they need to do in the future. And last but not least is for sure the following each time the implementation plan. So from the beginning we defined the plan, and time by time we revising it in order to have, let me say, an updated plan.
So now I think we have a 6th version or 7th version, probably will be next week, but that's okay. We really agree that it's better to have a plan and update it every 3 weeks than just use it as kind of code in stone, or maybe don't have it at all.
Yeah. So at the local level, we need to share the same information like scope and goals of a project. Analyze from the beginning the ASIS process is fundamental parts in order to avoid to miss some part of the process. This is very important because based on this analysis that we did for our plans, we are able to, let me say, understand the needs plant by plant, and we have opportunity to understand how we can aggregate and standardize each functionality. Yeah, before to start the project, we avoid surprise at the end.
It's time consuming to do the flow analysis before even development started, but it's like the biggest saving that you probably can do in projects like this. Every hour that you spend before development is like 10 hours savings after the development, because every change that you can do on the analysis phase is super easy to do. When you have tool already developed and integrated with 10 different carriers and your ERP system and any other tool, each change could be difficult. It could take some time, and also, of course, it could be high price for it.
Yeah. Sure, also at plant level, we need to share with them the plant, because each plant needs to know the timing when they will release this in their factory, in order to evaluate the right number of resources that are impacted in this kind of project. Carriers is another important stakeholders that we need to involve. We involved in our implementation process, because they are part of our process, and they have an important rules, a special way when we start to integrate data, and when we ask them to register the event, when we talk about freight manager before. So what is important also, evaluate their capability and understand the level of integration that we can do with them, because not all carriers are the same in terms of size. There is little carriers, there is big carriers that use it to have this kind of application. So another challenge for us is also try to integrate also the smaller one carriers in this tool. The approach that we defined to follow is the agile approach for the implementation process, where we start for each interaction, for each functionality, we try to use this kind of cycle. From the beginning, as we said, we analyzed the flow, we prepared the demo, and we revised things at plant level the demo with the people in order to check if this kind of demo we prepared fit well with their requirements. Then, when we received the approval from the plant, Logintegra prepared the configuration of this and testing together us this configuration, this functionality. And then, in case there is some misalignment or something that not work well, they again update the configuration. At the end, after downloading last version, we together prepare the training of the people and go live.
So the important takeoff is that we for sure will do some mistakes, and it's much better to just be ready for that, not try to do everything perfect at the first attempt, but just give you some chance to find errors, try some new ways of using the system, and then update the configuration, and then go live.
So, another important stage of this kind of project, global project, is balance the customization and the standardization. Because the problem is not all plants work at the same way as we said at the beginning. Data that they are focused on is different plant by plant, and also responsibility, a lot of things is very different. So for this reason, we would like at the same time preserve the standardization, because for us it's fundamental in order to receive good data, and at the same time also to guarantee that we follow the same process. But we need not forget that each plant has some special requirements, some needs that we need to evaluate carefully, and in case they are fundamental for their process, for their country, their carriers, because maybe they have some agreements, we need to take in consideration. So what do we consider like some things that we need to standardize is for sure this kind of items we list here, starting from, for sure, it's very important that costs are managing at the same level and same way. And for sure, spot quotation, we need to preserve this because we would like to ensure the competition in our plant.
Yeah, so I think there are a lot of different activities, but generally speaking, there are two groups that have to be standardized to really get to really have some data that we can analyze and have some results from this analysis. So is it all cost related or quality related?
Yeah.
So if something is cost related or quality related, we understand that it has to be standardized on the global level.
Yeah, it's important. And at the end, as we said, it's important also consider the customization. For sure, the language and the metric could be different because here in Europe we use some system different from US, and also currency and support for the hours. We defined slot time different plant by plant. But
that was the easy part.
Yeah. This is not just these items, but we go in deeply, and we also try to see, let me say, additional difference, like level of responsibility sometimes change plant by plant, and also, let me say, kind of we implement solution because there is sometimes different priority, yes. And also, it's very important also analyze digitalization of a career that could be different.
So, in the end, much bigger challenge was to understand, for example, differences on the local law level or priorities in implementation. Then everything on your left side, that is quite obvious, and we were prepared for that.
Yeah. So, we finished. Thank you very much.